In this video, I'm going to show you how to teach your child the L sound. Hi, I'm Jane from Talking Made Easy. I'm a qualified speech and language pathologist, and today we are going to look at ways to teach the L sound for a child who is not able to say it yet. First of all, we will look at when the sound usually becomes available for a child. We will then identify whether this is a good sound for you to be targeting with your child today. And finally, I will show you some useful tips and tricks for teaching the L sound. There is a range of normal when it comes to children acquiring new speech sounds. We have early, mid, and late developing sounds. L tends to fit into the mid to late section, with children developing it around the age of 4 or 5. This is an approximate time frame and does not have to be strictly stuck to. However, it can be helpful to know, as if you have a young one who is struggling with clarity, you can get an idea of whether their challenge with a sound is expected for their age and waiting it out is the best option, or whether you think perhaps you should give them some extra support. I personally take age of acquisition into account, but am more inclined to identify two things. Can the child I'm working with do this sound with my help? And will them having the sound available in their speech sound system be beneficial to their overall clarity? If the answer to both of these questions is yes, then it is a good sound to work on. So the first step is to identify, can they do the sound? How do we do this if we haven't heard them use that L sound before? So first of all, you can model the sound for your child and see if they can repeat it back to you. Simply sit face to face with them so that they can have a clear view of your mouth, and with some exaggerated articulation, make the L sound. If they can copy you, then you can move on to practicing the sound. If you are ready to move to this stage, see my video on practicing a new speech sound in the link above. If your child is unable to copy the sound straight away, we can try and give a few more cues to teach them how to do it. My favourite way of teaching the L is with a tongue clamp. Before I move forward, I want to acknowledge that this is not teaching the typical tongue position for the L sound, but in my experience is still my favourite method and has a huge success rate. The L is typically produced with the tongue up and the little ridge behind the top teeth. L, and then flipping the tongue down. L, L. I'd encourage you to have a go yourself now. In my experience, this is a challenging position to teach, as it can very easily become a N or often a Y as the tongue heads back. For the tongue clamp, I encourage the child to hold their tongue between their teeth. I then give them the cue, don't let it go, don't let it go, not until I say, and then as they let go, we open wide into an ah sound. La. This opening wide is important, especially if your child tends to put a y or a w in the place of l, such as white or yite instead of a l, light, as neither of the sounds y or w can be accessed with a wide open mouth. La. I also like to add the hand gesture of a fist opening out as a visual and tactile reminder. This is often very helpful for children simply to observe, and some even like to do it themselves. La, la, la. Because as humans we tend to take the path of least resistance, it is likely that in time your child's tongue will move in and L will be produced inside the mouth. L, L, L. However, if they were to retain the L, subtly protruding their tongue through their teeth, L, L, I personally see no issue with this. I am of the opinion that they are better to have the accurate sound, even if it means a slightly different tongue position. If you would prefer to try a more traditional approach and teach the sound in the so-called correct position, you can try putting something sticky and ideally yummy, like peanut butter, up onto the little ridge behind their top teeth. This acts as a tasty and tactile target for them to find their tongue position. L, L. Encourage them to put their tongue up to the yummy substance you have chosen and then to lick it off. And as they go for their lick, they can practice their L. As you are practicing your L sound, remember to give your child as many cues as they need. You may find that practicing in the mirror is super helpful so that they can see their own mouth as well as yours, which can help them with their copying. Keep it fun, keep it positive, and if they're having difficulty, just practice in short bursts every day. Keeping their confidence and willingness to have a go is the most important element. There is no need to push too hard. They will get there in their own time, as long as there is lots of opportunity to practice. Once they can do their L sound, you can move from teaching to practicing the sound. So click on my next video, Practicing a New Speech Sound, to get the steps you need to take the L sound to a place of mastery. Have fun with the L and happy chatting.